Ron, I was just thinking about something, and I wanted to talk to you about it.
Sure, what's on your mind, Mila?
Well, my sister is getting married in 6 months, and she's always dreamed of getting married ever since she was little. It doesn't matter who proposes to her, she just wants to be married. And it got me thinking about our relationship and where we stand with marriage.
Are you worried about Binky? Maybe the baby will be fine.
Binky is quite blindly in love with her fiancé, so I'm worried about this.
I understand. What are your thoughts on it?
Honestly, I never really cared if I got married or not, as long as I had a good career and a happy relationship with you. But seeing my sister so excited about getting married made me wonder if I was missing out on something.
I do see a future together, but I want to make sure we're both financially stable and our careers are where we want them to be before we get married.
That makes sense. I understand where you're coming from, and I appreciate your commitment to us. I just wanted to bring it up and have an open conversation about it.
Of course, anytime. You know I'll always be here for you. And besides, I was present at the christening of our granddaughter Mila on Christmas break. That shows how much I love you and your family.
Yes, I know. And I love you for that. You're such an important part of my life and my family's life. I couldn't ask for a better partner.
And when the time is right, we can definitely talk about marriage more seriously. Until then, let's keep building our careers and enjoying each other's company.
Agreed. You always know how to make me feel better. I'm so lucky to have you in my life. Hey, Binky, can we talk for a minute?
Of course, Mila, what's up?
I wanted to talk to you about something that's been bothering me for the past month. Remember that double date you set me up on with your fiancé and Bal? That double date you tricked me and Ron into going on with your fiancé and Bal?
Yeah, what about it? Oh yeah, I remember that. Why are you bringing it up now? It's in the past, why bring it up again? I already apologized, what else is there to do?
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but the Bal kept making passes at me the whole time. It made me really uncomfortable, especially since I thought I was just going out to dinner with you and a friend. I didn't appreciate the way your fiancé's brother was making passes at me the whole time. It made me really uncomfortable.
Oh, come on, Mila, he was just flirting with you. He thinks you're cute. LOL. Please don't overreact like that. He was just teasing you a little, and it didn't harm you in any way. So, please don't be selfish in your response.
That's not the point, Binky. But the thing is, every time I've seen him since then, he's been really weird towards me. He won't stop staring at me, and it's just really creepy. The whole situation made me feel really awkward, especially since I had to keep telling him that I had a boyfriend.
Ron doesn't pay attention, he is your boyfriend, and isn't he always there for you? I don't understand why you seem annoyed with me like this. My fiancé's Bil is very wealthy, so if they pay attention to you sometimes, it might bring you some luck, right? LOL.
Can you please stop that silly tone? I don't like your fiancé's Bil at all. Please tell him to stay away from me.
Yeah, but how much was he staring at you? My fiancé even said that his brother likes you. Well, that's not necessarily a good thing. You can choose between Ron and the Bil. Anyway, I think you should have more options, with Ron being just a secondary choice. If he's not as wealthy as the Bil, then you won't have any financial benefits from him.
Your attitude is making me very uncomfortable, you know. Ron is my boyfriend. I hope you respect Ron.
Didn't Ron always give you gifts and treat you very well before? But he is poor. He can't afford to buy you a designer handbag or a pair of fancy shoes.
Stop it, Binky! That's enough! I don't want to hear any more words that offend Ron. You should stop now. I will solve my own issues, and you don't need to worry about them. It's my problem to deal with. That's exactly what I don't want, Binky. I don't want him to like me. I don't want any weirdness between me and Bil because of your fiancé's brother.
But Mila, you have to understand that it's better for the relationship if you get along with Ron's family. That's ridiculous, Mila. You're just being stubborn. If you don't make an effort to get along with Bil's family, you're going to ruin our marriage.
I'm not trying to ruin anything, Binky. I just don't want to be forced into a situation that makes me uncomfortable.
Well, you're going to have to figure something out, Mila. I'm not going to let you ruin my relationship with his family because of your silly little grudge against his brother.
It's not a silly little grudge, Binky. I don't appreciate being made to feel uncomfortable, and I'm not going to put up with it just to please other people.
Fine, Mila. Do whatever you want. But if his family doesn't like you because of this, it's on you. Okay, I don't want to talk about this. Will you come as a bridesmaid next month when the wedding takes place?
Of course, I will. We're all excited for your big day.
Great. So, there's one small thing that I wanted to ask of you. You see, my fiancé's brother-in-law will be walking down the aisle with you.
Oh. I can't agree to this, Binky.
Wait. What?
Actually, Binky, I'm not too comfortable with that. I've mentioned before that I don't agree with the private meeting between him and me.
Come on, Mila. It's just a small thing that you can do for me and my fiancé. We just want everything to be perfect on our special day.
I understand that, but it just seems a bit strange that you're insisting on this. And I already told you that I'm not comfortable with it.
Why are you making such a big deal out of this? It's just a walk down the aisle with him. It's not like you have to spend the whole day with him.
I'm sorry, Binky, but it's just something I'm not willing to compromise on.
Well, this is my wedding and I want things done my way. If you can't handle something as simple as this, then maybe you shouldn't come at all.
That's not fair, Binky. I consulted with my brothers, and they also thought it was odd.
I don't care what our brothers think. This is my wedding and I will do what I want.
I'm sorry, Binky, but I can't comply with this request. I hope you can understand my position.
Mila, I can't believe you're trying to ruin my marriage. If you don't show up or cause any drama at my wedding, it's on you.
What? I'm not trying to ruin your marriage. What makes you think that?
Do you know how much I need you? If you don't come, I will go down with Bil. How am I supposed to talk to my fiancé if you're not here? Did you purposely ruin my wedding just to satisfy yourself?
I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable, but I didn't invite her to spite you. If my boyfriend and I were invited to your wedding, and we thought it would be nice to be invited.
Why did you do that, Mila? I already reminded you that I don't want to see your partner at my wedding. But you know how I feel about him. It's like you're purposely trying to hurt me.
I understand that you don't like Ron, but we didn't invite her to hurt you.
If you don't agree, we won't attend. No matter how much I tell you, you still won't attend my wedding just because of Ron?
Oh. No. I don't want that to happen to you.
I just can't believe you would do this to me.
Binky, Please give me a few days to think about this. Maybe we can find a compromise that works for both of us.
Okay, I'll try to be open-minded. But I can't promise anything. If you don't attend my wedding, then like we don't have this relationship. HM.
Hey Ron, I'm so sorry that Binky didn't allow you to attend the wedding. I know how much you were looking forward to it.
It's okay, Mila. I understand why Binky made that decision. It's her special day, and she wants everything to be perfect. I don't want to cause any trouble for her.
I just feel so bad that we couldn't be there together. We've been waiting for this day for so long.
I know, sweetheart. But we have many more occasions to attend together. And who knows? Maybe one day we'll have our wedding ceremony and invite Binky.
That would be nice.
Besides, I'm confident enough in myself that I know Binky will never compete with me. And I'm sure he feels the same way about you.
You're right, Ron. Thanks for comforting me.
Of course, my love. And hey, let's not forget to send our wishes to Binky. I hope he has a happy wedding.
Yes, let's do that. Thanks again, Ron. You always know how to make me feel better.
Anything for you, Mila?
Hey, Binky. I have something to tell you about your wedding.
Oh, hey Mila. What is it?
Well, I've been thinking a lot about being your bridesmaid, and I've decided that I'm actually going to attend as a guest instead.
What? Why would you do that? You promised me you would be one of my bridesmaids.
I know, and I'm sorry. But things have changed for me recently, and I don't think I can fulfill the responsibilities of a bridesmaid right now.
This is so unfair, Mila. What about my wedding? Don't you care about me at all?
Of course, I care about you, Binky. That's why I'm still attending your wedding and supporting you in any way I can.
Supporting me? What about meeting my fiancé's BIL? You promised you would help me out with that.
Actually, I didn't promise anything like that, Binky. That's not my responsibility. It's your fiancé's private matter, and I don't want to get involved in it.
Ugh, fine. You know what? Whatever. Just do what you want, Mila. But you need to understand this.
I don't think I feel comfortable with that. I mean, it's your family's event, and I don't want to impose.
Come on, Mila, our parents won't be able to stay till the end, and I really need you to help me out. Plus, if you don't go, everyone will talk.
I really can't care less about what your extended family or BAL thinks of me, Binky. Besides, it's your wedding party, not mine.
I know, but still, I need your help. Also, can you do me a favor and not go for a walk with my brother? Instead, go with my fiancé's BIL. That's what my fiancé wants, and I just want him to be happy. That's so small thing.
Wait, what's the big deal with me walking with your fiancé's BAL? He's weird, and frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to attack or flirt with me. It's something that makes me uncomfortable, so no, I won't do it.
Come on, Mila, why are you always so difficult? You're being selfish towards my family, and it's not fair. I just want everything to be perfect for my wedding day.
I'm sorry, Binky, but this is not about being difficult or selfish. It's about my comfort and safety. I don't want to ruin your happiness, but I also don't want to compromise my well-being.
I can't believe you, Mila. You're just going to leave before the reception cause Ron? That's ridiculous.
Binky, I'm tired of arguing about this. I'll come to the wedding as a guest, but I won't be participating in the wedding party. And by the way, my brother is on my side. He said he won't participate if I don't attend.
You're ruining my happiness, Mila. How could you do this to me?
I'm not ruining anything. You're putting too much pressure on me to do something that makes me uncomfortable. I'm sorry if this upsets you, but I have to do what's best for me.
I'm going to tell my parents how you made my wedding impossible.
Binky, I think you're the one who's ruining your own wedding. You're so focused on what other people think and want that you're forgetting about yourself. I'm sorry we couldn't come to an agreement, but I won't change my mind. I'll attend the wedding as a guest, and that's final.
How dare you do that to my wedding? How will my fiancé think of me? Huh? I need you there as a bridesmaid. Do you understand? Quickly reply to my messages, Mila.
I decided to leave and let my parents reassure her, but before I could step outside, Binky ran into my room, pulled my hair, and yelled that she wouldn't let go. So I tugged on hers too, and she let go. She had hair extensions, and I obviously picked them up and pulled some hair out. She tried to grab me again, so I punched her in the face. I didn't mean to hit her, it was just my immediate reaction. Someone came to me, so now she has a black eye, a cut on her cheek, and some hair loss. She's cranky because of her bachelorette party coming up next week. I didn't want to be in the spotlight anymore, but she didn't respect me and our relationship until this wedding was over. I will limit contact with her for a while. Since I couldn't understand Blinky's actions, was it really my fault that I wanted to respect my wishes?
Hey, Kate. Come here whenever you're at. What are you doing? Haven't you finished making dinner yet? It's taking so long for a housewife. You're definitely not very good in the kitchen.
Come on, Mom. I'm not at home today. As I told you before, I have a work today. I prepared your lunch, so if you're hungry you can take it out of the fridge. And you can heat it up then. It's labeled for you.
Aren't you ashamed of yourself making up stories like that? Not to mention expecting your poor mother-in-law to eat cold leftovers. You really can't do anything, right?
They're not cold leftovers, Mom. I made it for you to have for lunch and you can heat it up in the microwave. And I'm not making up stories. What am I supposedly lying about?
Kate, I know. You're a full-time housewife leeching off my son's money. You don't need to pretend you have a job or anything. The truth must be that you're out shopping or something.
What? Mom, what makes you think that? And why would I make up such a lie in the first place? Anyway, I really do have a job. You can ask your son when you see him.
I know you so well, Kate. Do not hide it from me. I bet you're melding off about me to your dreadful housewife friends somewhere. Really, it's just terrible. If you have so much free time, then why aren't you down at the fertility clinic?
Why are you bringing that up of all things?
Although you call yourself a full-time housewife, you go out leaving the chores unfinished, you can gossip about me. And why haven't you and Peter had any children? It must be your fault that I don't have a grandchild. Do you think you should take some responsibility and do something about it? Poor Peter.
Mom, listen. Children are blessings. So I don't need to go to a fertility clinic. If it happens, it happens. And anyway, I do really have a job. Because of the company's policy, I usually work from home these days. But there are times I need to go to the office in person too. I know I've told you this before.
My son has bought such a beautiful house for the two of you to live in. But I can see it's going to waste in your hands. Aren't you ashamed to call yourself a housewife?
I don't call myself a housewife. I told you I have a job. Besides, the house is perfectly fine.
What are you talking about? Honestly, my dear son doesn't deserve such things.
Mom, what do you mean by that?
Peter's finally able to save enough to buy a brand new house after years. But his wife isn't doing anything to maintain it, just sitting around, lazily day after day, letting the place deteriorate. You really are a parasite after all.
Did Peter actually say any of that?
What?
Did Peter tell you he bought the house?
Of course. My son bought the house. This house is on his name. I don't even need to ask him.
Okay, if you say so. Anyway, I'm about to go back on shift now. So don't expect any more messages from me until I get home. And don't forget about your lunch in the fridge. I made it specially for you. So I'm sure you can manage something.
What a cold-hearted woman you are. I don't know how Peter married a good-for-nothing woman like you. My poor son.
Whatever, Mom.
That's over, Kate. You need to leave this house. Now. Stop leeching off my son.
Excuse me?
You're not going to conduct yourself like a proper wife. So I can't let you free vote off my son anymore. You parasite. So I demand that you leave this house.
What are you talking about? You demand that I leave? Why? I have been nothing but decent to you this whole time. And besides, you're the one who decided to come and move in with us in the first place. And now you're asking me to leave? Do you really think that is going to happen?
It's going to happen. I'm Peter's mother, you know. I have the right to decide who lives in our house.
Even though the house doesn't belong to either of you?
Again? Acting all high and mighty. How dare you downplay his achievements? He's worked for years to afford this place. You should show him some appreciation. This horrible attitude of yours is exactly why you're a parasite housewife. You can't have children and doesn't do housework. You have no worth in this world. No worth at all.
Mom, no, Ella, what an old-fashioned attitude you have. I'm almost impressed that you can really say that with a straight face. You're not knowing anything about the situation.
Not content with bad-mouthing my son, so you intend to mock me as well now?
Not at all. In fact, I intend to honor your request if you so insist.
Well, you'll be leaving immediately. I feel like my luck is draining away with every second you spend in this house. So do me a favor and vacate the property as soon as possible.
Fine, Ella. If that's how you feel, then I guess there's nothing for it. I'll be gone before you know it.
Well, it's about time. My son and I will finally be free from your burdensome presence. I've been terribly stressed out having to live in the same house with a disgusting parasite like you.
You're really crossing the line, Ella. I've put up with you too much. This is verbal abuse.
I don't care how you feel about it. You'll be out of the house soon. My son bought the house with the money he earned. So we don't want to let parasite like you around, who doesn't contribute to the house. Just leave us in peace.
Sure. I don't need to live here anymore. I'll go. You and your dear son can live together happily.
You know that, right? I'm surprised a silly woman like you can get that.
Well, I'll just sell the house then. I need the money to buy another house to live in, you know, right?
What? What do you mean? You sell the house? How dare you?
I don't want to say anymore.
Just a minute there. Explain what you meant by that. How exactly are you planning to do that?
Well, it's, in fact, my house. So if you insist that I leave, I guess that means I have no choice but to sell it. Unless you decide to leave instead. But in which case I'll probably still sell it. A beautiful house, I'm sure I can sell it pretty easily. But either way, you don't need to live with a horrible parasite like me anymore. Does that reassure you?
What? Wait a minute. What's going on? I don't get it. What are you saying? It's your house? What are you talking about? You've been talking nonsense this whole time. You must be lying to me. Don't act like this house belongs to you when Peter worked hard for years to afford it. How dare you belittle my son?
I'm not belittling anyone. I'm just telling you the truth. This house does belong to me in the legal sense.
How can that be?
I paid for it with my money. The deed is in my name.
I don't understand.
Yeah. The house you've been living in this whole time actually belongs to your cold-hearted parasite. Do you get it? Don't be so surprised. The house is my property, so if you want me to leave, you'll have to purchase it from me.
What? You say that it's not Peter's house?
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to tell you this entire time. Oh, I forget to tell you something. That Peter hasn't gone to work for over a year. He's unemployed.
What?
Oh, it looks like he didn't tell you yet. At first, he did try to find another job. But he gave up when he couldn't find any. He hasn't been to a job interview or sent a resume out in months. He's been living off my money this entire time.
But I see him going out every morning. He also dress up well. How could that be true? I don't believe you.
Oh, it's up to you. You can ask your dear son to check my word. You know what? He just takes the car out and hangs out with his friends all the time. Maybe he wants to look like an employed man to hide from the reality. I know that, but I haven't said anything. I did believe that he would find a job some days. But never did I imagine being forced to leave out my house.
What?
I pay all the bills, allowances, everything. I also know that he steals my money to go down to the racetrack and gambles. He just sits in a bar until after dark, or he just spends the day playing video games at his girlfriend's house.
His girlfriends? Gambling? No, you're definitely lying. You're making things up again. My son would never do any of those things.
You could believe whatever you want to believe. But it won't change the fact that what I just told you is the truth. You can ask him. The one who's been supporting you this entire time isn't him. It is me. I've been letting the both of you live in my house. I pay for all your expenses.
This can't be happening. That Peter is unemployed, that can't be right. It doesn't make any sense. If neither of you are working, then how have you been able to afford to live?
How many times do I have to tell you? I have a job and I work from home. I've been working since before Peter and I were even married. So I have some savings. But things are different now. I can't take living in the same house with the two of you and dealing with your behavior anymore. I'll be leaving this place, so I'm going to sell the house.
I could wait to ask Peter if what you're saying is true. But if it's true, where are we gonna go? We have no income, I'm already retired. How are we going to live?
I don't have any clue, and I don't even care about this. I guess you'll have to figure that out with your scumbag son and decide for yourselves.
What? How dare you call my son a scumbag? What an awful thing to say about your own husband.
Well, it's the truth, he's unemployed now. So if I divorce him, I doubt he'll be able to pay the alimony. Since we've come to this point, I've already made up my mind to divorce him. I think his girlfriend might help him out with the legal fees.
You're planning to divorce him and sell this house? Are you being serious?
I'm serious. Why would I want to keep living here while supporting my cheating husband? There's nothing in it for me. Anyway, you should make your decision soon. Whether the two of you are going to leave the house, or whether you will stay and buy the house from me. The housing market is still going up. So I recommend you decide quickly.
How could you do this to us? You're Peter's wife. I'll admit I didn't know anything about him being unemployed. But everyone falls on hard times in life. And as his wife, it's your job to support him when things are difficult.
Don't you realize what I did? I did support him for an entire year. Actually, I put up with all your bullying and verbal abuse. I put up with his cheating and let him gamble away my money. But this is what it's all come to you. This is the last straw, to be honest.
But you can't just force us out of the house.
Why can't I?
You're not thinking things through. Consider the situation we'll be in if you do that.
But have you two ever thought about my situation?
What do you mean?
You try to force me to leave when you thought this was Peter's house. You even didn't care where I would live. Did you think about what I would do or where I would go?
Well, you could have just gone back to live with your parents or something like that.
My parents live on the other side of the country. You didn't think about me at all. So you don't get the right to complain when I treat you the same way.
What are you trying to say?
How many times do I have to repeat myself? I'm selling the house. If you want me to leave, that means I have to sell it. Because it's my legal house. Do you understand now? I don't care where you and your scumbag son go.
Really, Kate? How can you take such an irresponsible attitude to us? We're your family.
No, don't say that. Once the divorce is settled, you're just some other people that have nothing to do with. I'm not being irresponsible at all. Although I'm sure you turned as white as a sheep during this conversation. But I'm well past my limit. This is the action I've been driven towards. All of this is your fault. So now take what you deserve.
Please, Kate. Please think about Peter and I a little. I'm sorry for what I did. I'm now enlightened. I beg for you forgiveness.
No, no way. I'm done. I'm done thinking about the two of you. I don't need either of you in my life anymore. No matter how you try and persuade me, I've already made up my mind.
Peter doesn't have a job right now, so how are we supposed to live? Who is going to support us?
Who knows? I guess you're gonna have to get a job. You're not old enough to receive a pension.
No, I don't to work. I just want to enjoy my life.
Well, look who's the lazy woman. So, bye now. Never contact me again. After that, Ella found out the truth about her son. She realized that everything I told her was true. In the end, Peter was at a loss. After the divorce, he is still jobless. He's also forced to pay alimony because he'd been cheating and abusive. There's nothing they could do to save themselves.
Make a point of stopping by before you go to bed tonight. I need assistance cleaning my bathrooms because I cannot inhale bleach at this age. In addition, the guest plates and silverware require polishing.
Hello, Mrs. Ella. I believe there was some type of misunderstanding. David and I have just checked out of our hotel and are on our way to the airport to begin our honeymoon. We are unable to come to your home to clean your bathroom. Is this some sort of joke? Ella, are you attempting to haze us?
Oh, I never make jokes. Never, ever undercut me like that again. It does not appeal to me. As a family elder, I'm providing you instructions. All you have to do is say yes, ma'am, and come do what I say. Nowadays, there are a lot of young people. They are devoid of common sense. As the newest member of this family, I would have preferred that you take the initiative to find something to do right away. But I can let it go this time. I understand you're still on a high from your wedding. Now that you're my daughter-in-law, you're as good as my personal assistant. Don't worry about your honeymoon. I told David to cancel the flight, so stop being so foolish and come here right away.
What do you mean? You forced David to cancel our honeymoon? Why would you do such a thing? Why would David do such a thing? It wasn't just his honeymoon, it was ours as well. I even covered half of the costs. He can make the decision to cancel it on his own? Why wouldn't he talk to me first?
Obviously, because he values my wishes over yours. After all, I am his mother, you know. I carried him for 9 months, gave birth to him, and reared him for the rest of his life. He's also always been a good mama's son. He has never, ever said no to me. All I had to say to him was that I was sorry and upset to watch him go on a trip to the Bahamas when I had never even left the country. David, my lovely child, called your airline and canceled your tickets right away. He even promised to take me somewhere much nicer in the near future. He didn't tell you about it, did he? It doesn't matter. I'll be expecting you in the next 3 hours.
This is unbelievable. I have no idea what to say. I'm completely at a loss for words. I can't believe I bought into David's machismo. I would never have said yes to his proposal if I had realized he was such a mama's boy. Not to mention a first date. He makes such a big deal about how much he despises mama's boys. He used to yell at his pals whenever their mothers were mentioned. Was it all a ruse? I had a feeling something was wrong. At times, he seemed to go too far. You two are the best showman mother-son duo, aren't you? What happened to my wonderful, warm, and welcome new mother-in-law, whom I had grown to love and appreciate? She appears to have vanished as soon as the wedding vows were read.
What else can I say? I needed help around the house, and who better to ask than my daughter-in-law? You were a perfect target. I've never seen such low-hanging fruit. Especially when you're as eager to satisfy everyone you meet for the first time as you are. It was basically a no-brainer. Would you have married David if I had showed my true colors from the start? Obviously not. You wouldn't have gone on a date, as you stated. Please don't take it personally, Zelda. Everything is for the sake of this family. Plus, if you're lucky enough to have a boy, like me, you will be richly rewarded later in life when you become a mother-in-law. Isn't that something to be excited about? It's all part of the female life cycle. You are powerless to stop it. So come on over so I can start teaching you all you need to know about being a good housewife from the ground up.
Housewife classes? Is this the 1940s? I can handle things around the house just well, thank you. I don't see why I should need your help. Is your residence unique in comparison to others? Is your ship an alien craft?
Hush. You don't know the first thing about how this family operates. Each family has its own set of traditions, recipes, and regulations. I'm sure your mother had her own recipe for mashed potatoes, didn't she? Time to learn how we prepare potatoes. Now that you're a member of our family, it's your job to carry on our traditions. I'm afraid you have a long way to go.
I have eaten your potatoes. They're a little lumpy for my liking. And if you're such a stickler for family customs, why would you reveal them to an outsider like me? Why don't you schedule cooking for your moms and your dear David? I simply don't agree with the traditional way of life in which the woman is expected to perform all of the housekeeping. Those days are long gone, Ella. I went to college, like your son, and I have a job, like your son. I'm not going to come home from a long day at work to cook, clean, and coddle a guy who refuses to do anything.
Don't tell me you're going to keep your job. That is absurd. You are now a married woman. Can't you go out and work like a man? This is completely inappropriate. Your responsibilities are now at home. Be a nice wife to your spouse by bearing as many children as possible. Besides, your work doesn't pay as much as David's. What exactly are you, a secretary? I'm sure you prepare coffee and smile at coworkers. That is not work. You can always do that for me and your father-in-law right here.
I actually earn significantly more than David. I have 2 degrees from a university that is far superior to Kevin's alma mater. I'm offended by your assumption about my employment. Please do not dismiss my hard-earned position in life. I put forth a lot of effort to get to where I am now.
That's all there is to it for the time being. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm your in-law's mom. You must obey me. Hold on to every word as though it were the gospel. Did your parents teach you anything worthwhile? Stop yapping about quitting your job and coming over to my house to sit so I can teach you your place. Or else.
Thank you, but no. I'll decline. That appears to be the worst deal ever.
What? Have you gone insane? Do you not recognize the gravity of the situation? You're getting on my nerves, young missy. If you don't want to be divorced the day after your wedding, you should follow my advice.
That doesn't seem so bad now, does it? Actually, it doesn't sound too bad.
Nonsense. You have no idea what you're talking about. This is not the time to bluff. I'm not foolish, and I'm not going to fall for it. When a woman divorces, her value plummets. She's damaged beyond repair. Men truly mature like great wines. Their worth increases when they develop their own style, earn more money, amass more assets, and so on. But it's like driving a brand new automobile off the lot, ladies. When it hits the ground, it loses more than half of its value. Do you really have no concept of how the world works? Thank heavens I'm here to help you get through it all. You're quite fortunate.
I believe you are unaware of how things function. At least in this universe, in this era. For Christ's sake, it's 2022. Yes, David and I did have a wedding ceremony and celebration. Sure, we had almost 200 people there to witness our vows. But we haven't yet submitted any paperwork to City Hall. That was our plan after our honeymoon. I didn't want to cope with the tension and lines until I had done something fun and relaxed beforehand. So David and I are not legally married. Legally, we're just 2 guys who had a costly party.
What? Before the wedding, David told me you two were heading to City Hall to make it official. I'm pretty sure it was last week.
That's exactly what we were planning to do the other day. However, something urgent came up at my dreadful job, and I had to make a last-minute business trip. As a result, we had to postpone it. What a stroke of good fortune! I'm already angry about having to end things with David so soon after a large, expensive wedding. But to think I was this close to getting divorced? How wonderful. I'm sure I have some guardian angels watching over me.
That is ridiculous. Why would you not inform me? Why would David not tell me that? Look at that. I believe I was a little forceful. I may have been too anxious to welcome you into our family since my remarks came across as harsh. I really apologize. It was never my aim to frighten you or treat you as a slave. No, I would never do something like that. I would never consider it. I just feel this huge responsibility to prepare you to be the most amazing daughter-in-law ever. We went in the wrong direction. That's the end of it. Please pretend this conversation never took place. Is it necessary to inform David? He most likely planned a different itinerary for your honeymoon. He would have had a backup plan. So, shall we forgive and forget?
No, I can't simply forget. While I prefer you this way, tail between your legs, I can't pretend nothing happened today. That would be the dumbest thing to do. If I've learned anything in my short 30 years, it's that once a cheater, always a cheater. I guess you didn't cheat in this situation. But you understand what I mean. Garbage is just garbage. It's pointless to try to repair something that has already been abandoned.
Are you comparing me to a garbage can? I'm your mother-in-law, after all.
In theory, you are nothing to me. Remember? David and I do not have a legal marriage. So we're essentially nothing more than an old lady who threatened me and forced me to do hard labor. It's truly amusing. Who would do that? I'll have someone come to my apartment and pick up my belongings. Maybe I'll find someone to sublet my place so I don't have to deal with you anymore. Because you seem to make all of David's decisions, you can arrange to get his belongings out of there yourself. I'm going to get myself out of this situation.
Wait a minute, Zelda! Allow me to explain.
I had to call it quits with my would-be spouse the day after my big wedding. Of course, thanks to an emergency business trip and something called an annulment, I was able to avoid being labeled a divorce. David begged me to take him back, claiming it was all a ridiculous misunderstanding between his mother and me. Not in a million years, I said emphatically. So there I was, doing my utmost to get my life and job back on track, when Ella reached out to me again out of the blue.
Hello, Zelda. How are you doing? I couldn't stop myself. On a day like today, I felt compelled to contact you. Today is the first anniversary of your and David's marriage. Do you recall? I still look at your and David's wedding images every now and then. They never fail to put a grin on my face. You looked really stunning. And how pleased we were all that day. Huh? Zelda, it aches my heart to see you moving more and further away from us. So, what happened to us? We were on our way to being one big happy family.
Are you Mrs. Ella? You've got to be joking. You text me after a year to do what? Play victim? What is your problem? Please ignore me. I'm already tense because I'm not a fan of summer and it's above 100 degrees outdoors. In addition, I'm at work and very busy. Do you recall my pathetic job?
Oh, you haven't altered a jot. You still talk as if you want to rip someone's head off. Oh, how I had overlooked that. It's an honor. God knows women these days need some spunk. You have no idea what I had to go through after David and his father both blamed me for wrecking your marriage. They're not going to let me forget it.
Will you cry me a river? Look, I have to return to work. Goodbye.
Why don't you think about it for a while? I'm sure you'll find it in your heart to reconcile with David, don't you? You two were head over heels in love. For more than 2 years. You can't pretend that didn't happen because of an old lady's ramblings. You see, David hasn't forgotten you yet, Zelda. He no longer speaks to me because he is still upset with me. He claims you were the best thing to ever happen to him and that I ruined everything. Will you at the very least consider it? Consider it carefully.
The answer is no. I've already started dating someone else. If you're curious, his name is Leon, and I met him while on another business trip for my boring work. Of course, he is well aware of my unsuccessful first marriage. He still adores me.
You're ready to start a new serious relationship? So quickly? What do I know? I didn't think you were a tramp. To say the least, that's rather astounding. It's just been a year since you ended your relationship with my David. How did you find someone so quickly? Did you use Tinder?
That is completely absurd. Not to say there's anything wrong with Tinder, but I didn't use it. After a man-child like David, did you expect me to become a nun or something? Ella, if I were to compare you to an animal, you'd be donkeys, and my fiancé Leon and his family would be diamond unicorns. Leon's parents are incredibly wealthy, and they behave accordingly. Leon was even taken to etiquette school as a child. My future in-laws are the epitome of elegance. But you wouldn't know anything about it.
You are a silly woman. Do you think they'll be any different? How do you know they won't abandon their niceness as soon as you say I do? I'm not in the minority. My mother-in-law was also pretty strict. That's just the way things are.
I know this because I've witnessed how servers are treated in restaurants. I'm talking about 4 or 5-star restaurants here. Oh, and did I mention they bought and taught me in a 4,000 square foot lakeside house? Of course, under both our names. Besides, they already have a butler on payroll, so they won't need a daughter-in-law to do their bidding. Anyway, like I already stated, I need to get back to work. Don't ever call or text me again. Goodbye. Fortunately, Ella and the rest of Ella's family received the message loud and clear and never attempted to contact me again. I was finally able to spend my actual honeymoon with the love of my life, Leon. Italy is a really lovely country with fantastic food, music, and people. Leon's parents and sister had decorated our new house with garlands and balloons to welcome us into the family after we returned from our magical 10-day honeymoon. I wished I could have invited them all around for a small supper, but they were too preoccupied with their own lives, traveling and golfing. Leon's wonderful parents also respect our privacy and only bother us with unnecessary family gatherings around the holidays. Although I like my new in-laws as if they were my own parents, I wouldn't mind seeing them more frequently. I've finally discovered a place where I fit in. It's with Leon and Mina, our recently adopted cat. Oh, and I'm 9 weeks pregnant, which is a closely guarded secret. I'm looking forward to a future filled of optimism and wonder like never before. If this child is a boy, I promise him and myself that I will never, ever be a bad mother-in-law to his future wife.
Hey Jolie, how's it going?
Not too bad, thanks. But I've been having a bit of a tough time with my twin brother lately. And how about you?
I'm doing okay, but what's been going on?
Well, our parents have always made us compete with each other for their attention and affection. It's really taken a toll on our relationship.
That sounds really tough. What kind of things do they make you compete over?
It's all kinds of things. For example, if one of us gets better grades at the end of the month, we get $100. And whenever we have sports games on the same day, our parents will go to the game of the twin that they like more at the moment. And it's only when we get good grades that our parents take care of us. I'm so tired of this.
Wow, that sounds really unfair. Have you tried talking to your parents about how this is affecting you and your brother?
Yeah, we've tried talking to them about it before, but they just don't seem to listen. They're so focused on competing with each other themselves that they don't see how it's hurting us. They say that capable people have no right to be interested in them.
That's really unfortunate. Have you and your brother talked about ways to improve your relationship despite your parents' behavior?
We have, but it's hard. Sometimes it feels like we're still competing with each other, even though we don't want to be.
I can imagine. Maybe it would be helpful for you and your brother to focus on your own individual.
I know this, but it's hard because I'm not good at school, so my parents won't pay attention to what I say.
But you're their child, so can they understand you?
Usually they don't care about my efforts, they only care about the results. Last week the results weren't good, so my parents didn't care about me, they ignored me and only cared about Dai. He won a scholarship, so his words to my parents are important.
Do you ever feel like our parents are constantly comparing us to each other and to you, our bro Dai?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's not just about grades or friends, it's everything. They always have a favorite and it changes all the time.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Why don't you ask them to stop thinking nonsense just to satisfy their own satisfaction?
Ugh, it's so frustrating. Sometimes they talk about how much it hurts my feelings, and sometimes we end up arguing about it for hours. I get into arguments with Dai too. He always seems to be the golden child in their eyes, and it feels like I'm always playing catch-up.
It's not fair to any of you. That's bad, Jolie. Your parents are so bad, they treat you like a slave.
I can't tell my parents about this. It's really hard because they don't listen to me.
Maybe you and your bro should try to support each other rather than tear each other down.
Thanks, Clytus.
Hey Jolie, I need a favor from you.
Sure, what kind of favor?
Well, I was wondering if you would be interested in stealing $10,000 from parents' wallet. And if you do it, I'll split the money with you.
What? Are you crazy? Why would you even suggest something like that? That money is not something you can touch.
Look, I really need the money. The allowance my parents give me is just not enough. Do you really think that little money can satisfy me? You also know that a little money, it's as small as a fingernail, can't afford me enough to buy branded goods.
Fashionable clothes! How can you afford to buy?
How can you be so stupid? The scholarship amount, of course, but it's not enough for my upcoming purchase.
But I don't think you need to use those things.
Come on, my friends use it. I can't be like you, like a country girl who doesn't know what beautiful clothes are all day.
That's no excuse to steal money from them. You can't just take advantage of your parents like that.
I know, but I'm really desperate. And I trust you, Jolie. You're my little sis.
But what you said is impossible. It's not true, Di. I will not support you.
Okay, so don't try to ask the people stuck in the family for money to buy new things. With your small mind like a mouse can never help you get what you want.
I'm sorry, Di. But I can't help you with something like this. It's wrong and illegal. You should find another way to get the money you need.
You're stupid. Just admit it. Jolie! The money you have can help you buy many things. Don't you want this too? Stop staying home all day and claiming that you're fine while you're poor as dirt. Do you know what people say about you at school? It's really bothersome to me how cheap and unsophisticated you appear compared to my friends when people ask about you. If you had that kind of money, you should consider changing your dressing style, as it looks both unattractive and outdated.
You are insulting me. I never thought I would have a sibling like you. If you want to play around, fine! But trying to mock and insult me through your friends, is that really a good thing to do?
Who do you think you are, little sister? This is an order for you to do it.
I won't do it, but feel free to go tattle to Mom. Maybe she'll have some pity for you and give you $100.
What did you say? Huh? Shut your mouth. I'm your older sibling. Don't use that condescending tone with me, Jolie. Let me see who you'll go tattle to. I'm sure they'll listen to you. You don't have to try so hard because your pitiful achievements are just an embarrassment to this household. Nobody pays much attention to your efforts anyway.
No matter what you say, I won't help you with this foolishness. You think you're my older sibling and can order me around to do senseless things just because it serves your personal agenda? Think again! That's utterly ridiculous. I know everything you've hidden in the room, Di. You've been hiding cigarettes in the room, and I've stayed silent for a long time.
What? Are you threatening me, right? Fine then, so you'll help me with this, won't you? We'll split the money, considering that both you and I benefit from this trip.
No. I'm not going to help you with this. I don't want to get involved in this anymore, so please leave me alone. If you keep bothering me about this, I will tell our parents how you hide cigarettes.
Oh, I'm so scared now. Fine then. Whatever you want. But I have no idea what happened to you, Jolie.
It's up to you, Di. Di, did you do something sneaky behind my back?
What are you talking about? Please don't ask meaningless questions. I didn't do anything.
Do you believe that your words are disgusting? Di, I can't trust you. Mom found $10,000 in my room and she thinks I took it. Do you have any idea how that could have ended up there?
Huh? What are you talking about? I didn't take any money from Mom. Why would I do that?
Oh, come on, Di. You're the only other person who had access to my room besides me. I'm sure you know something about this.
I really don't. I swear. Why would I risk stealing money from our own mother? That's crazy.
Well, if you didn't take the money, then how did it end up in my room? Mom is furious with me and she thinks I'm lying to her. This is all your fault!
My fault? How can you say that? I didn't do anything wrong. Maybe someone else put the money in your room without us knowing.
Yeah, right. Like who? It doesn't make sense. You're just trying to cover your tracks.
No, Jolie, I'm not. I'm telling you the truth. I don't know anything about the missing money. Maybe we should talk to Mom together and try to figure out what happened. LOL.
Ugh, fine. But if you're lying to me, you better watch out. I won't let you get away with this.
Is that so, Jolie? Didn't I already tell you? Go tell your mom. She'll probably understand and be sympathetic towards you. Wow. When you don't have anyone's support, it's quite depressing. It's a tragic tale. LOL.
Di, stop laugh! Did you take Mom's keys? Maybe use them to get into my room and leave the money there.
Well, Jolie, don't doubt without basis. Why would I do that? And even if I did have the keys, I wouldn't put money in your room without telling you. That's ridiculous.
But Mom's key is missing. How else could someone have gotten into my room?
It doesn't have to be me.
You're just trying to deny everything. I can't believe you would do this to me. This is so frustrating. I trusted you as my twin brother, but now I don't even know if I can trust you.
Hey! Stop it!
I can't believe our parents locked me up in a room and scolded me for an hour because they thought I stole this sum. Doesn't it seem unfair to treat me like that?
I didn't do anything. I'm not sure why they would accuse you of stealing.
Don't act so innocent. You have done what you must know. They think you're the good child who wouldn't steal, so they automatically assume I must be lying and trying to blame you. It's not fair. And on top of that, they called me a pervert.
Oh? Really? Well, pretty true, right?
That's what you tell me, after all this. The punishment for this story is getting our credit cards suspended for a month and not being able to use our phone for a year. Di, is this what you wanted? Isolation and bad-mouthing me to our parents is what you desire?
Why are you so stupid, Jolie? I've told you time and time again that no one in this house will listen to what you say, but you don't care. As long as you steal that money, I guarantee you'll live well, but you don't listen to me.
I cannot always listen to you doing bad things like a slave. Even if I agree to help you get that money, the truth will still reveal that I am just an accomplice.
Stop it. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Take your punishment.
I beg of you, please explain to my parents that these things are just your jokes and not real.
No, that will not happen. Enjoy it, little sister.
Die!
Hey, Jolie. I heard everything that happened with your family. I'm really sad to hear about it.
Yeah, it's been tough. Di really crossed the line and my parents just don't seem to get me.
If your phone was taken away, what would you use to communicate with everyone?
Luckily, I still have my laptop. My parents left it for me to study.
I can understand why you're frustrated. It's not fair that your brother treated you that way and your parents aren't listening to your ideas.
It's like they don't even care about what I have to say. I feel so trapped here.
I know it's hard, but have you considered moving to the dormitory? You won't have to deal with toxic things from your family and you'll have more freedom to pursue your goals.
I have thought about it, but I'm not ready yet. I haven't received a scholarship. And I can't afford to pay rent on my own.
Well, I might be able to help with that. I have an empty room in my family's house, and you can stay there until you win a scholarship. That way, You won't have to live with your toxic family and you can focus on your studies.
That's really kind of you, Clytus. But are you sure your family won't mind?
My family is very welcoming and they would be happy to have you. Plus, this way you can save up some money until you're able to move into the dormitory.
Thank you so much, Clytus. This means a lot to me. I'll definitely consider it.
Of course, Jolie. Just let me know if you need anything. We're friends and I want to support you in any way I can.
After a month, I was able to secure a scholarship with the help of Clytus and moved into the dormitory. Despite their change in attitude towards me, I still feel hurt by what happened because of my parents' behavior and my twin brother Dai's childish actions. What should I do to let them know that their actions have caused me pain? Maybe they will change if I speak up.